What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. If you haven't already found us, we're on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, William Fratelli Cooking and Guns channel, where we post cooking videos throughout the week. We have a hybrid channel now. It's cooking videos throughout the week. We try our best to post at least 1 or 2 videos a week related to cooking content. And then we have a episode of Sunday-Gunday like tonight. Welcome to another episode of Sunday-Gunday, where we post safety tips. We try to give guidance, no kind of legal advice, guidance, maneuvering in your lives in uncertain times. We post gun reviews, safety equipment, and other medical related equipment and safety tips when navigating in an uncertain world. We're just trying to raise awareness. We're gonna go through the disclosure tonight like we usually do. This channel is for educational purposes only. We preach lawful self-defense. We're by no means gun fanatics. We are not giving any legal advice, once again. We're simply voicing our opinions, and we are not claiming to be firearms experts. We just are giving you reasons for why you should maintain your firearms, responsibly maintain those firearms, and what you should and should not do. We're just giving guidance once again. We want you to be responsible, be reasonable with your weapons, any kind of equipment, just like a car, weapons, a vehicle. We want you to be responsible with all that equipment. As usual, like we say on the channel, if we get any trolls, we're not going to tolerate it. Just like our other channels that we're collaborating with, you're just going to get blocked. We're collaborating with channels 2A, Second Amendment gun advocates on YouTube, Gun Freak Nation, Trey 57 Production, and the Alert Zone TV. These are 3 channels on YouTube that do the same thing we do. They do it full time, where they post videos on awareness, gun reviews, gun collection videos, safety tips. Some of these channels post cooking content like us. Some of them post like the Alert Zone TV and Gun Freak Nation post videos on fair use, where they go ahead and they show us self-defense or attacks on TV surveillance footage, and they go through a commentary on what could have been done differently, and just overall good training for everybody maneuvering in uncertain times, like we said before. We're coming from 15, almost 16 years of law enforcement experience. Myself, I've been an armed security guard in the state of Florida since 2010, armed security officer, and currently a police officer. I've been a police officer since January 2014 in the state of Florida. So with that being said, we're gonna do the shout outs to the end, towards the end of this video. We're gonna go ahead and set up our basically a classroom style instruction video with the whiteboard like we did previously on one of these other videos. Tonight's video is going to be the justified use of force. Justified use of force, justifiable, legal, responsible use of force, and up to deadly force. What elements and what branches we're going to go through. We're going to go through thoroughly this time when it comes to the law. Every state differs when it comes to these laws of whether or not you need to retreat, whether or not you don't have a duty to retreat, but we're going to basically go through the basics. It's going to be 3 branches of definitions and legal concepts, and we're going to just put it on the whiteboard, give you guys a visual of what we're talking about. If you're ever caught in any kind of incident like this where you are justified, or you think you're justified in using force, we want to make it clear. We want people to be aware. We don't want people to make any mistakes when they're out there maneuvering in their lives. We want you to be responsible again. We want to put out a video like this like we usually do. We enjoy doing our gun reviews, but this stuff right here is necessary. Just like Uncle James with the Alert Zone TV tells us, a lot of the content we post is like your Brussels sprouts and your vegetables. You might not like to eat that kind of stuff all the time, but it's important. You need to have it. You need to have it as part of your diet, and that's what we're trying to do tonight. We're going to get into the legal stuff tonight. We're not showing any firearms tonight. We're going to do a lot of talking We have some people that get bored with the videos. They don't want to hear all the talking. Some people might go on YouTube and search up how to start a fire. Over here, we just use a lighter. We keep it simple. We do a lot of talking on this channel, but it's worth it in the end. It's gonna be very educational. So we're gonna go ahead and set up the whiteboard here, and then we're gonna continue this video with the part 2. All right, stand by. All right, YouTube, here we are. We've got the whiteboard here. We got a couple of colors now. That way we can go in depth, show you guys, you know, a lot of you guys that are visual like me. I've been a visual person my whole life. I need to see stuff on a whiteboard in order for it to be clear for me. It's better, different colors we have here. So tonight we're gonna talk about something. I got my notes here on the side. That way I can keep up because I'm getting old. My memory's bad. So this video is I'm gonna try not to make it too long, but we want you guys to understand the severity of this topic. It's a very severe topic. It's not to be taken lightly. It's whether or not you're justified in using force and up to deadly force. Might not be always deadly force, but we don't know. That's why we're going to go through this step by step. We're gonna do a couple of categories here, and then towards the end we're gonna erase everything, and we're gonna go on some key points that are not involved in this and are not mentioned in the criminal world when it comes to these definitions. There's some of this stuff that's left out. I made sure I researched this. You know, like I said before, I'm not 100% on anything. I'm human. I'm not a legal expert, but we're gonna try to make it as clear as possible so you can understand the elements that are involved in a self-defense situation and whether or not you're justified in doing what you did. So number 1, we're gonna put a 1 right here, put a circle around it. This is gonna be ability. So in this case, ability refers to a couple of things. Ability refers to can a physical attack do damage to the point where death or great bodily harm is present. All right, so we're gonna put a line right here, squiggly line, ability. We're gonna do number 2 right now. We're just gonna do the categories and then we'll go into detail. So for this one, number 2, circle here, is going to be something called opportunity. All right, you got opportunity right here. And opportunity basically means, does the attacker have the opportunity to seriously injure or cause serious bodily harm or death to you? And this is often associated with something. I'm going to use a different color over here and put it over here in parentheses below. Proximity. All right, so proximity means basically like distance. Opportunity is often associated with distance. It doesn't always mean that it has to be just distance. It could mean a couple of other things. We're going to get more into it in a second, but we're just putting these now so we can get it nice and clear here for you guys to see. And then number 3, finally, number 3 is going to be jeopardy. All right, so now jeopardy. And the legal definition for jeopardy is, are you being put in danger? Are you being put in danger to the point where the person that's putting you in danger, their behavior basically shows that they're basically threatening in behavior. This is often linked to intent. Now we'll put parentheses down here, intent. And intent in the courts, when it comes to the courts and all the legal stuff, intent can't be proven. As far as I know, it can't be proven. It's something very difficult for you to prove, but it's basically jeopardy is basically what it comes to in the end is this individual manifesting, showing, basically manifesting is a bigger word for showing, is this person manifesting their intent to do harm to you, to do whatever, whether it's great bodily harm, whether it's death, whether they're waving a weapon around, whatever the case might be. So we have these 3 sections here. We're going to go through it. We're going to explain to you guys exactly what we're talking about. So ability up here. Ability can be several different things. So ability is basically is your attacker armed, right? So we'll put a little pistol right here. We're gonna do a little visual here with the visual aids. This is a pistol. All right. Is the attacker armed? That could be one thing. We're gonna do a slash right here. It doesn't have to only be armed. Person's armed with a gun, maybe a knife. We'll do a knife right here. All right. Ability is often associated with something called disparity of force. Disparity of force. Disparity of force. Disparity of force can be several things. It can be a man attacking a woman. All right, this is a lady right here. We're gonna do put a little dress like we've done in one of our videos in the past. So disparity of force. The courts have recognized that males are often a lot stronger than females. Most of the time, males have the upper hand on a female. Unfortunately, it's I don't want it to be that way, but this is just the reality. So if you have a man that's trying to attack a woman is going to be justified in using a force multiplier, whether it's a gun, a bat, a knife, a club. Generally speaking, the courts authorize this. They will basically see to where the male's force is multiplied against the female. It's not a fair fight. So this is a disparity of force. That's one element. We're going to go ahead and erase the lady and the guy. All right. Another element of disparity of force can be this. It can be an attack with multiple attackers against one person. So you have two people right here. All right, these are two guys. Let's just say two guys, just to give you a clear example, and then we'll go from there. All right, we're gonna put an arrow going this way, and then we have one man right here. Now in Florida, it's considered a mob, a gang. Two people attacking one. It's not a fair fight unless you're Bruce Lee or you have some really good combat skills. We have a few people in the county I live in that have combat experience that can take an attack against 2 or 3 people. I'm not going to name any names. I'm just going to let you know there's a couple of people in my area where I live that have martial arts experience. They're able to put up a fight against 2 people. Most of the time, it might not always be that way, but generally the courts are going to recognize that a gang attack, 2 or more in the state of Florida, 2 against 1, not a fair fight. That's a disparity of force. It's not a fair fight. Right, we're gonna go ahead and erase that. Give you guys another example of disparity of force. Let's say you're a bouncer, right? We're just gonna do this example right here just to get it kind of get you a clear picture of what we're talking about. This scenario we're gonna say that you're an armed security guard in a establishment that serves alcohol. We don't want to make an example of a concealed carrier carrying a weapon while he's in an establishment that serves alcohol, because that wouldn't be right in my eyes and other people's eyes. So we're gonna just say, for the sake of this example right here, you have several bouncers that are in charge of security in this club. You have a guy that walks in. We don't know what the issue is, but he has an issue with one of the people that's in charge of security at the club. And you witness this male, right? We'll put the male right here. Let's make some more room over here and take this so we can make some more room here for disparity of force. We have this man right here just assaulted 2 bouncers at the nightclub. Assaulted 2 bouncers, and we're gonna do the bouncers like they're sideways, like they're going flying sideways. He just knocked out 2 bouncers cold. He knocked this bouncer out cold. He knocked this one out cold, and then they just went into a glass window and shattered the glass. They both got knocked out with one punch. This man's size and strength might not be the size, but it might be the strength. He might have some type of superhuman strength or some skills that we're not aware of, he was able to knock 2 people out here cold, and they didn't stand a chance against him. This is another example of disparity of force. So you have your other security or bouncer right here that's armed with a firearm. This bouncer would be justified in using up to deadly force. If not, maybe if he has some lethal or less lethal force, like a taser, some pepper spray, or some kind of a less lethal ammunition, to be able to put this person, stop this person. We never like to use words like kill or for YouTube. You know, they don't like those kinds of words on YouTube. Unalive someone or delete someone. We don't use those words even in this kind of a legal example. We want to stop the threat. That's what your goal is to stop, never to do anything worse than that. Obviously, this guard right here, or this bodyguard, would be justified in using that level of force because you just witnessed 2 people get knocked out cold, if not completely went through the glass. This guy threw these people against the glass. Maybe he punched them, he kicked them, he picked them up and literally threw them through the glass. These are 2, let's say 200-pound men like me. I'm not a small person. I'm over 200 pounds. If somebody comes and knocks me out or knocks someone else out, maybe they didn't knock me out, but they knocked somebody else, and I see that he's already incapacitated more than 1 or 2 people, it would be a justifiable use of force. In this example, for a disparity of force, like we say. Call this a disparity of force. See if I can give you guys another example of a disparity of force. All right, so we went through 3 so far that we can name here. The 4th one would be a position of disadvantage. Let's say you've gotten into some kind of an altercation. There's been a fight. You end up on your back. The attacker, if it's only 1 attacker, we're just going to use 1 attacker for now. The attacker is attacking you and you're on your back. All right, there's our stick figure. You're on your back and the attack has been taking place for a while now, and your breathing has become restricted. You cannot continue to breathe. He's been choking you, or he's been hitting you to the point where your head is against the floor, and severe injury. This person continues to hit you. It may incapacitate you to where you're going to be at the level of force of serious bodily injury or death. This is another element of disparity of force, where you're going to become incapacitated throughout the attack. Not only this, you could become handicapped during an attack like this. So that would be another element of disparity of force, to where you become crippled during an attack and you can't fight fairly. You're not able to fight fairly. So all of those are the ability element when you look at the legal definitions for justifiable use of deadly force. So we're going to go ahead and put a big box right here, check mark. Let's say you've met that element of use of force in this triangle that we're talking about. We're talking about a triangle here. It's ability. You have ability right here. You have opportunity and jeopardy. So let's say you might have instances where you don't have all 3 elements. You only have 1. You might have ability, then you might not have opportunity, but you might have jeopardy. And we're going to get into that. We're going to explain to you why it's important for you to have all 3 of these if you're going to use any kind of force. Now, opportunity. So let's say you have your ability. You have somebody that's attacking you. Maybe it's a one-on-one attack with this person has a weapon, or they have a knife. Let's go ahead and stick to that one right there so we don't confuse anyone. So you have your ability. You have somebody that has a gun. All right, gun or knife. We're just gonna say gun or knife for this one. Now we need opportunity, which is proximity. We're gonna do proximity for now, and then we'll explain to you what we mean. So let's say you're at a baseball field. You have somebody with a knife. Let's do knife first, so you can understand what we're trying to say as far as proximity. We have the bleachers right here.
right? We're just gonna say these are the bleachers, right? And your attacker is up top and he's waving a knife. And you happen to be down there for some reason. We're not gonna go into why you're there or what this scenario is. We're just trying to give you an example of opportunity as opposed to the ability factor. We already determined the abilities there. This person has a knife or a gun for this example. This person does not have the opportunity to commit this crime against you because the bleachers here are separating them from you, meaning he would have to get down from those bleachers to be able to fulfill the attack or accomplish the attack. So in this scenario, checkbox right here, X. He doesn't have the opportunity to cause injury to you because he's so far away from you. Now, if he has a gun, see the gun right here? We're gonna put a big circle right here. If he has a gun and he's on top of those bleachers, it won't make a difference whether or not he can get down to you or not because he can shoot you from up there. Yeah, bullet right here, you're done. So that's opportunity. And jeopardy. Jeopardy is, I don't want to say is the most simple way for me to explain something to you, but in this scenario right here where we just talked about the first two elements, jeopardy is pretty clean cut. Jeopardy may not always exist in every scenario. Some scenarios different, especially if you don't have a knife or a gun. If you have a gun, it's pretty clean cut. If you have a knife, it could complicate things. So that's why we're doing this lesson just so you guys can see, and then we can try some other ways of explaining different situations after this. So jeopardy. Jeopardy is manifested. Manifested meaning they're showing you. It's a big word for showing. That's all manifest means. Manifested intent. All right? So this person's showing you that they're trying to kill you or they're trying to injure you or delete you. Let's be careful of the words for YouTube because they don't like that word. They're trying to delete you or unalive you for YouTube. Okay. So are you being put in danger to where this behavior warrants a response from you? Okay. Clearly in this situation, this person's armed with a pistol. You're on the bottom of the bleachers at the baseball game. This person's on top of the bleachers. They're pointing a weapon at you. Check mark. We got the box right here. Check for jeopardy. All three of these boxes are checked when it comes to the pistol. So for pistol, check, check, check. You've met the three elements. You're authorized to use deadly force. Of course, we always preach avoiding on this channel. We want people to avoid any type of conflict if they can. If it's avoidable, if it's unavoidable, obviously in this situation, it's unavoidable. We understand you have to do what you have to do. But if there's any way for you to avoid any other way that you can de-escalate this situation, maybe this person is not armed with a firearm, okay? So the proximity in this example with the knife instead of the pistol. With the knife, it'd be an X. So you don't have the three. The three prongs right here for this triangle, for it to be authorized, you need to have the three. There needs to be ability. We already know this person possesses the ability. They don't even have to be armed. They can be unarmed. It just depends on the situation. So in this situation, we have the ability. You don't have the opportunity because this person's too far away from you. And then you have jeopardy. This person's putting you in jeopardy. Their actions or behavior are causing you to believe that they're going to do this to you. Right? We're going to go ahead and erase some of this. That way we could do another example. That way you guys are a little bit more clear of what we're talking about here. We don't want anybody to have any questions and be confused. We're not trying to confuse anyone. We're not trying to tell you that this is how it's going to work all the time. Every situation's unique. That's why we're doing this classroom, environment lesson, basically, just to, let you guys know every situation's unique. It's never going to be the same. But you need to know these things just in case you get into any kind of conflict out in the street and you think you're justified when you could simply there's other ways of dealing with this stuff, right? So now let's say we're going to do a different example here. See if we could do a different example. All right. So ability. Let's say we have a 4-year-old child here. 4-year-old. This child is not armed. It's a 4-year-old child. Let's say the 4-year-old is saying something like they're gonna do something to you or whatever. This child's not gonna have the ability to be a threat, because let's say you're a grown person, you're 18 or above. You're not. There's no ability here. This is a child. It doesn't even have to be a child. It can be an adult, 18 years of age. Let's go ahead and erase the child. Let's say it's a 50-year-old man, right? 50-year-old. We're gonna put 50 right here. 50-year-old man. 50-year-old man making threats, right? But this person happens to be in a wheelchair. So this is a 50-year-old man. Yes, he might be making threats. If he's armed and he's making threats, right? He's armed, he's handicapped, obviously. We're just doing another example. That way you could get the picture of what we're trying to talk about. He's armed, so your ability's met because he has a deadly weapon on him. It could be a knife. And then, yeah, he's handicapped, but he's still able to get to you because he can get to you regardless of whether he's handicapped. So you have your proximity, that's been met. And then if he's displaying his actions, he's displaying actions that show that he's trying to put you in jeopardy, then you have all three categories have been met for this example right here. So we're going to go ahead and erase this. We're done with that example. Now we're going to make some room on this chart. This is not going to be such a long video. It's a little longer than what I thought. We're going to go ahead and erase this right here. We're going to still keep these three categories up, but we're going to put something here in the middle that we talk about a lot on this channel. We talk about avoiding situations. This is something that's not talked about a lot in the legal world. This is a term that, believe it or not, is going to be used in the event that, let's say this goes to trial. Like we told you in the past, there's a possibility that your actions make this end up in trial. It's not always 100%. Sometimes it might not end up going to trial, but there's a good possibility. Anytime you get into any kind of conflict, you have to think, is this avoidable? We try to teach people to be the bigger person. Like we've said in the past in these videos, we want people to try to avoid situations. If you don't have to get into any kind of conflict, just avoid it. It's just better. Sometimes you can't avoid it. Like we said in the channel before, if this person's charging at you with a knife, you cannot avoid it. This is something that's imminent, it's immediate. Then you have to do what you have to do to defend yourself. But if you can avoid it, we're trying to get you to do that because this is the best outcome for everyone. This person has a family just like you do. You have a family. You were a child at one point. This person was a child at one point. They have a father. They have a mother. They have kids probably just like you, and they have a family. Regardless of who started the attack, it's always going to favor the person that did not start the attack. It's always going to be in your favor. If you started something, you were the aggressor, then your whole defense of self-defense or any kind of standing your ground is going to go out the door. That's automatic. So you don't want to get into any conflict or start the conflict. We're going to put a legal definition right here. Put a big circle right here. This is never talked about in the legal community. As far as I know, when it comes to these three categories, this is never discussed. And this is what we call preclusion. Preclusion. P-R-E-C-L-U-S-I-O-N. Preclusion basically means, is there anything that you could have done to avoid using this type of level of force? Whatever force you used, was there any kind of way that you could have avoided using that level of force? Could you have called 911? Right? That's one example right there. Called 911. Could you have ran away? could you have driven away? Let's say you have somebody's got a baseball bat and they decided to just come out of nowhere and bash your they're not bashing your window trying to get into the vehicle. We already said in a past video regarding self-defense and somebody trying to commit a burglary and get into the vehicle. We're not saying that you have to drive away in every instance, but let's just say you can drive away and this person just took out one of your mirrors from your car. They smacked one of your mirrors off. If you could put that car and drive and take off, it would be best. You can always replace the mirror. If you have insurance, like I have insurance, I don't care about the mirror. I could pay for a mirror. My insurance covers it. That's why I have good insurance. You should too. So a broken mirror, you're gonna pay a lot less paying for a mirror as opposed to you getting into any kind of legal troubles when it comes to self-defense that might have not been justified. These things could turn out bad. I mean, there's no clean-cut answer as to whether or not you were justified to use your weapon in this instance or the other instances that we talked about, like somebody getting knocked out at the club or somebody trying to bash your window out. And if somebody's trying to bash your window out, you have a better chance of trying to defend yourself in that case because they're trying to gain access to the car, which would be a burglary here in Florida at least. Let's say you couldn't drive away because the car became incapacitated. The car decided that it was going to stall. You had no choice in this instant. In this instance right here, preclusion. If your car decides not to start or just dies on the spot and you have no choice but to defend yourself, then we're talking about a different scenario right here. Okay? But if you can drive away, your windshield or your window hasn't been bashed, it's just a mirror so far, drive off. Because preclusion is going to protect you. Preclusion. This is number one. This is not part of the three elements right here. The triangle that I told you before, this is not part of it. But this is going to play, this is going to be in effect when it comes to either a jury or a judge or someone judging your actions if it gets to that point. If your charges aren't immediately charged off or you know, no action or whatever we want to call it as far as when it comes to state attorney or district attorney. But call 911, run away, drive away, go inside, let's say go inside your house and lock the door. Go inside, lock door. All these things are stuff that you can do and would help the situation, but obviously every situation is unique. We're not saying everything's going to be the same every time, but we just wanted to give you guys an idea of what we were talking about as far as these elements right here. Ability, opportunity, jeopardy. Those are the main three. And preclusion. Preclusion is always going to be part of it. Regardless of what we want to say, regardless of what you see on TV, you might not see this thing, preclusion. You might have never heard of preclusion. I know about preclusion because I've seen plenty of cases in the past. I've seen plenty of people trying to defend themselves and things go left. They don't go correctly. All right. So we're going to give you one last example when it comes to these three elements. We're going to leave the preclusion out of this one. We just want you to get a clear idea of what we're talking about as far as these elements right here. So you have your ability still. We have the ability up here. We have our opportunity down here, proximity, and you have your jeopardy. So we're going to do a simple one. That way you guys can get the picture. We can do either a group of concealed carriers here sitting at a table. You got another one here. And then you got another one right here. They're all just sitting. 4 of them. These are 4 people sitting at a table right here, having a good time, talking about whatever. All right. These people are all armed. They all possess the ability to cause death or serious bodily harm to one another. Okay? You got 4 guns right here. So we have the abilities automatically checked off here. In this scenario, we have a check box right here. We're going to put a big check because that's been met. They all have the ability to cause death or great bodily harm. The opportunity, they all have the opportunity because they're all in proximity of one another. You got 4 arrows right here. They're all in proximity of one another, so they all have the proximity. When it comes to the proximity, they're all able-bodied individuals, but we don't have any jeopardy. In this case, there's no jeopardy. Why is there no jeopardy? Because there's no manifested intent. So in this scenario, we don't have jeopardy. Neither one of them are putting each other in jeopardy. They all have a means. They all have a means to put one another in jeopardy. They have the ability. They have the opportunity. They're within feet of each other at a table. But there's no manifested intent. So that's a big X right here. Manifested intent doesn't require somebody to say they're going to do something. It doesn't require somebody to say that they're going to unalive someone or delete someone for YouTube. We're going to be very careful with the words once again. Nobody here at this table has told the other 3 people or 4 people, I'm going to delete you or unalive you. So you have these 2 elements are met, but the third is not. Jeopardy is not met in this scenario because it's not present. These people, none of these 4 are exhibiting any kind of signs that they're willing to commit any type of action like that. Now, if you get one of these guys decides to start drawing their weapon, start acting in a manner that's not appropriate, then we can go ahead and make a conclusion that this person's about to put somebody in jeopardy. So these are the 3 prongs right here, the 3 categories that you need to be concerned with when it comes to whether or not you can use or not use force. Every scenario is different. It's never going to be clean cut. It's never going to be clean cut. There's always going to be different elements associated, but we wanted to post this educational video. That way you can get a visual, again, like we like to show you guys, of what we're talking about when it comes to these 3 categories. We're gonna do one more just for the sake of it because we got the video up. It's Sunday-Gunday, and we don't want to let you guys go too soon. So you got your ability, you have your opportunity, and jeopardy. Okay, let's say you have somebody here. It's a guy, right? And then he decides to call his buddy up. It's been his buddy for years. He decides to call him on the phone. We're gonna do a phone right here. Right. He calls his buddy up and says, I'm gonna delete you because I didn't like what you did last night or something. Who knows what. They live in the same location. They live in the same area. But at the time of the call, they're not in proximity of one another. So the proximity right here, let's say they were 2 counties away from each other. So they were one of them was living in one county and the one in the other. Right here, proximity is not met. Jeopardy, we could say that the person's manifesting intent. Manifested intent is met. Manifested intent is met. So we'll put a big check mark right here. So check, no check, check. So you got these 2 prongs right here have been met, but not this one in the middle. This person's he's saying threats or whatever he's saying to this other person. He's gonna delete them or do whatever you want to call it. But he doesn't have the opportunity to carry that out at the moment because he's in another location. So what person number 2 has to do in this case is call the police, do the right thing. That's why we have a police force here in the United States, armed police force, and let them know what's going on, and then they'll provide him with a means to be able to be protected from such an incident like this in the future. So this is just another thing here that we wanted you to see. We're done with this part of the instruction, just so you guys can get a clear picture of what we were talking about. Stand this up right here. So we got you guys here for another episode of Sunday-Gunday. We just wanted you to see the specifics when it comes to the justifiable use of force and what you need to be thinking about when it comes to this type of discussion that we're having. Another thing, since we have you, we're going to do one last thing before this is over with. Here in Florida, we have something called forcible felonies. Okay? A forcible felony is, and we're going to do a list of them here, authorizes you to use up to deadly force. It doesn't always mean that you have to, but it authorizes you to use up to deadly force in these instances. It's not all the same. It's not always going to be the same. Things change, obviously. Every situation is unique, but we're going to do a simple one over here. One of these is strong arm robbery. Strong armed robbery. Say you're at the ATM, somebody comes up to you and they say, give me your wallet, and they're using force. They're using force and threat to rob you. You're justified in using up to deadly force. Again, it's not all clear cut. You might be justified to use deadly force, you might not, but you're justified to use up to deadly force if needed in order to prevent this type of attack from happening to you. Another one, kidnapping. Kidnapping is when somebody basically takes you from one location to another. We can disagree and argue all day long on what would categorize kidnapping. You have something else called false imprisonment. That's another forcible felony. False imprisonment. Basically, you're being held against your will at the same location. Not 100% sure when it comes to if you're held in a building, if it counts if you're moved from one room to another, or if you have to be removed from that building into another building or another location like a vehicle for it to qualify as kidnapping. I'm just giving you a quick example. These are forcible felonies in Florida where you can use up to deadly force to defend yourself. Another one is carjacking. Carjacking, somebody trying to take your vehicle from you while you're in it. Again, your vehicle is an extension of your home. So in this scenario, carjacking is another element that you can defend yourself. And then one more I know, just off the top of my head. Any kind of sexual battery, anything in this nature. This is another one of those forcible felonies where you're authorized to use up to, if not deadly force, up to deadly force. So you have all these right here in Florida. Every state differs. Every state's different. You just have to read up on your laws or jurisdiction, whatever jurisdiction you live in. Just follow up on the law. That's why we did this video tonight. We just want people to be aware. We went through another classroom instruction. That way we can give you some information. You know, it's all fun and stuff when we do gun reviews and we do reviews of other stuff we have, equipment, and talk about other topics, but we want people to take this stuff serious. We don't want anyone again to get in trouble. We don't want anyone to get into any unfortunate circumstances if you don't have to. Again, avoiding is number one. That's what we want people to do. We don't want anyone to get into any of these legal troubles. All right, so for tonight we're erasing this. We're done with the lesson. We try not to make it too long, but that doesn't seem to work for me. I do a lot of talking again, but we appreciate you guys for tuning in again to this episode of Sunday-Gunday. I lost track already of what episode it was, but we'll put it down in the label for the video. We want to give our shout outs once again to our other 2A channels that we collaborate with on YouTube. We have T Electric with Gun Freak Nation. We have Trey 57 Production, and finally we have the Alert Zone TV with Uncle James, which they post great content just like us. They try to keep us informed of things going on around in the country, keeping us informed with incidents that happen, different safety tips and different, just guidance like we're trying to do here on this channel. We want people to be aware, and we'll continue to post our cooking videos every week. We're going to continue to post our Sunday-Gunday gun reviews and other safety tips on all kinds of equipment. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in the next episode, all right? Cheers.